This is my Guns Modify 416 MWS gas blowback. Now, you might not have seen it in this format. I have updated a lot of parts on this since last time we looked at it. But we'll go through all that, and then I'm going to make a couple of extra changes. But internally, it's still the same as it was before. We've got a Lilacs Prometheus barrel, which is a 603 with a flamingo rubber, all that good stuff. It shoots great. Since the last video where I think I was running this in the gauntlet up against the Scar, I've changed the grip to a dye-free Co. It's giving like multiple tan vibes here, I know, or FDE. I've added that. I've added a Surefire style suppressor here, which luckily for me, the PTS trace units fit into this, so that's nice as well. The Holosun and everything you've probably seen on many guns before, and obviously a Somo gear peck, but the major update I had was I think this was JWI or something like that. I'll have to double check, but it's a G95K rail, I believe, which is an M-lock rail. This, I might have butchered the name for it because I fitted it a while ago and I've just been enjoying it, but it's an M-lock rail for the 416A5 to update it and get rid of the Picatinny rails on the sides and the bottom, update it to M-lock, and this rail is specifically sold for the Umarex or VFC 416s. It's not sold for the Guns Modify at all. I bought it on a whim. I bought this from CRW Airsoft here in the UK. CRW Airsoft is a shop that used to be in Hong Kong, I believe, and then he moved over to London in the UK. So I saw it on his website. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to take a punt. It might fit, it might not. The VFC and Umarex guns are different to, obviously, the Guns Modify. Guns Modify runs on the MWS platform. The rail itself doesn't come with a barrel nut, so you just take it out of the box. I literally took the old rail off without taking the barrel nut off, slid this rail on, clipped it on, and it is a perfect fit on the top, on the bottom, on the sides. So if you're thinking about grabbing or modernising the front of your 416, this specific rail that fits the VFCs or made for the VFCs will fit the Guns Modify 416 perfectly. No modifications, nothing, just go straight on, latch it down, and you're good to go. So I was very impressed with it and very satisfied that, it just went straight on and we haven't got to butcher it like other guns that we've done on the channel to try and get them to fit. So I'm sure it's a G95K rail. Again, you'd have to correct me if I'm wrong. It was a while since I've bought it, but that went straight on there. It gives me a QD points for my sling, which is great. It gives me plenty of M-lock space, and it's actually really comfortable to hold as well. So and it matches with the tan aesthetic. I think you can get them in black as well. Dye-free Co is just my go-to grip. I have tried fitting Magpul. I had a Magpul FDE CTR stock. I'm not sure if I've got it here, but it wobbled around a lot, which is why I took it back off. So I'm going to try and jiggle around a couple more stocks. I think I've added some. I can't remember if I added some on Brownells. I might have added them to the cart, but never actually bought them. But we'll stick with a standard stock for now until I can find something that fits on and is a nice fit. But what I wanted to address today, there's two things I want to do. I want to update the optics, and I also want to try a couple of these parts. So we've got bolt parts. The hammer spring I'll probably have to do at a later time. So this is the full auto consistency upgrade pack that Guns Modify do for their 416s. After a certain date you shouldn't have to do this, but they sent me a couple, and we'll be giving that a try. But I hope you'll agree that this looks fantastic. But as good as these Holosuns are, I have bought a couple of things just to update them. So I'm going to take this off here. So this, in case you're wondering, is a 503 CU-GR. This is a green dot, and when I bought it, the only reason I bought the green dot was because it was the only one I could get in stock at the time, or the only one I could order at the time that was in stock. I bought it from Tactical Kit with the magnifier, which is going back a while now, and they only had the green in stock, so I bought the green, and then since then I've actually got on with it pretty all right. So I've bought a couple of things from PTS. These I purchased from Land Warrior, And these things are quite expensive. Like, it's a magnifier mount and a fast mount, which I'm hoping fits Allison. I'm pretty sure they do, but these aren't cheap. I think this was 60 or 70 quid, and this one was 100. So we'll find out if this was a good or a bad purchase. So we'll open this up here. It's wrapped in bubble wrap, which I'll just tear open. Excessively wrapped in bubble wrap here. And I went with the, I can't remember what colour. What colour did they say it was? Dark. It's labelled up as dark earth. The pictures on the website made it look very gold, but oh yeah, I actually really like that. So the pictures on the website made this look like bright gold, but it's a little bit different in the way that it actually mounts the optic or the magnifier upside down. Now I believe you might be able to use this for many different magnifiers and such. I'm not even sure whether it will fit this one, so we might be onto a bit of a loss here, but hopefully it will fit. If it doesn't, then I'm just gonna have to get a different magnifier, but it did say it fit. I'm sure it said it fit Holosun stuff. So we've got the magnifier mount, and we've got the Unity fast mount as well in dark earth also. Again, excessive amounts of bubble wrap, which is nice, stops them getting dinged up in transit, I suppose. And I've been looking at mounts to update the one that comes on the Holosun for a while, and yeah, kind of matches. You've got a little set of iron sights in the centre there, so it would go this way as backup sights, and hopefully we can get this fitted without any problems. So is this a T20? It is. So I'm just going to pull the screws out here. Now, whenever we do stuff like this, or whenever I do stuff like this on the channel, it always goes a bit Pete-tong and nothing fits properly. But I'm guessing there's some kind of fast mount you can get for these that goes in the centre. I couldn't see anything on Lamware's website to indicate that, but we've got some screws in the bottom here. Is it a T15? No, it will be a T10. So we can spin these out here. And I have been looking to update my the mount on my Holosun. I'm not a massive fan of the Holosun mount, but it does have the nice branding on the side. I was going to get like a Scalaworks one, which Lamware also do, but you're talking even more money. I think they're like, what, 200, 250, something daft like that for a, I might be mistaken again though, but they're not cheap at all for just a mount. Now, is this going to line up? I hope so. Hopefully it looks okay. It doesn't look too daft. So you have to line up the holes here. And we're going to have to try and put the screws in, I think, beforehand. So, in fact, these might go through the holes, so we might be okay. So we'll get our T10. Now, the way this goes, so you can tell which way you need to put it because of the little backup iron sights in there. So we're going to be placing it on like that. And line up the holes for the screws, which is there. And then we're going to try and balance, which I ain't going to want to do it. Try and balance these screws on the screwdriver, just to get one started. So I'm just flipping it upside down, threading that screw through the hole, just so we can get it started here, and it can hold it in place. You could also try and struggle to put them in from the front and the back. It's just these screws don't want to stay on the screwdriver. So let's go opposite. So I've put one there. Let's go on the opposite end diagonally. So two started. Let's get another one in. So I'll try and put this in here. Sorry, I'm just concentrating to balance these screws, and then we can carry on. So it does raise it up a little bit. Well, quite a lot actually. They might do these in different sizes. I wasn't quite, I probably wasn't paying full attention. I was just like, oh, shiny bits order. But yeah, I've been looking at updating the mounts just because I think the Holosun mount's just a bit to be desired. You never know, I might fit it. It doesn't have to go on these Holosuns. I went for the dark earth parts to match with the 416 build because I'm hopefully gonna, you know, get this all fitted up. Now we could fit this onto other tank guns I've got, but my idea was to get it fitted up and just have it set, and I just don't have to mess with it again. So that's on there. We can put the clamp back on. I think it's the same either side. Line these screws up here. It's okay, the machining. I'm not like blown away by it. It's just average, I'd probably say. It's already looking a pretty tall. I'm not a fan of like super tall red dots, but it might make it easier to see, especially when you've got Face Pro on. Yeah, it's a bit tall, isn't it? I'll have to give it a go and see what it's. In fact, it's quite nice. It's quite comfy. I can still see the irons. Maybe it will fill the space up if we can get this mount to work. What I don't like about these, like especially the PTS stuff, you just get the box and there's nothing inside. With telling you like what the compatibility is like and such. So we'll try taking this mount apart now. Let's have a look. Are we metric? I can't quite remember. It'll be a 2.5 if we are. No, it's Torx. It's a Torx. What am I talking about? I think I had fitted the riser piece in this when I first had it. I just don't know if it's going to align with this because you've only got the one screw hole, unless we have to use some kind of adapter. Maybe I didn't use the adapter and that's just how it came. Oh, it kind of sucks. I was hoping that this would just be a straight fit. Now, yeah, you can also see here, it's not going to be a great fit for the Holosun. I do have the boxes somewhere for these Holosuns. We might have an adapter plate, maybe. Actually, bloody hell. For once, I've found something straight away. No, we just got screws and the tool for it. Nothing else. So I might have to go back to the drawing board on the optics. And maybe just get a different red dot and magnifier for this set. But we can, you know, demonstrate what it would be like. So we'd have the mount on here. This would sit, it actually would sit too low as well, look at that. So this must be for a certain style of, and it would basically just lock down like that. So back to the drawing board for me. It's a bit of an annoying issue, but we've run into these things before. It just means it's going to end up costing me more money to find a good combo with this stuff. So if you run these Unity mounts, I mean, I do like real optics over, you know, copy ones, because most copy ones, it's a bit of a minefield with it. Now I have ordered a bunch of Holy Warrior stuff, so maybe the Holy Warrior optics and stuff that I've ordered will fit this setup. But, you know, you can see it as I get it out the box. Do I feel like this is worth the money spent? I don't know. I think it's a bit too early to tell. What would be nice is to have that fast mount version of this, or the fast attachment, including the box, so you can switch between the two. That would be nice. I wasn't paying attention when I ordered it. They only did one size, as far as I could tell, and it was in different colours. That was the only difference that I could see on the website, unless I was being stupid and I missed it. But obviously this isn't going to work with this anymore. It needs to be much higher. So no worries, I can swap that out for something else. I did have another magnifier, which I had with the EOTech that I had. Now, the good thing about this is, if I take this EOTech, this Holosun off, because it's not going to work with the Holosun, so let's just whip this back off. I've had this aim point here for a while, and I don't think it's, well, I can guarantee you it's not a real one. However, the main problem with it, which I'll show you in just a second, I'll just take this mount out. It's a bit finicky there. The main problem I had with this optic is the mount. So this is like a copy Scalaworks mount. So the Scalaworks ones look like this. They're very fast looking. I love the angled, sort of canted forward portion of it with this like slice they've got here. The problem with this one, with it being a copy, is the mounting screw itself is too thick. So you'll see when you place it on the rail, when you tighten it down, which it won't do on this gun, you watch, but on every other gun that I've put it on, basically it rocks backwards and forwards because this is too thick. And as nice as that is, what we could probably do is put this aim point on that mount and then get another magnifier like this, and then we can put the Holosun on something else, and we're just multiplying our accessories to put on other guns. Because the problem with having a lot of guns, which I'm fortunate enough to have, is having enough optics and red dots and such to put on such things, because I'm not a fan of having to just constantly change my red dots over, because you might get your red dot or something set up nicely on a rifle, and then you want to use a different rifle but you don't have a red dot for it, so you need to pull the red dot off your other one, and there's a lot of backwards and forwards that happens. And it's why I've bought something for like the testing videos and such, which I'll go over with you in just a moment, because I also bought something else from Land Warrior. But I believe this is the same. Again, another T10. We can just quickly whip these off. It should be the same mounting style, which is like an aim point mounting style. I'm not even sure what optic this is. It just says aim point. Oh, Comp M5, there we go. I'm just being dumb. Right, so we can mount this like that. It actually does kind of feel like it's a slightly better fit, which I suppose makes sense, because a PTS is like a, I'm sure these PTS Unity mounts are like a licensed version of like the real ones, aren't they? Correct me if I'm wrong. I would have thought that Unity was a brand that's about, and then PTS have just got the rights to do the airsoft mounts. I might have got that horrendously wrong and be very misinformed there, but we can just whack this on here. We'll be keeping the Holosun and the Holosun magnifier together. But if you have these Unity mounts and you've got the magnifier mount, let me know down below what magnifiers you're using. I want something that's like, I don't want something that's going to be like horrendously expensive, but I want something half decent as well. So we could actually fit that up here instead. So we can switch this over, because I don't want to use the Holosun red dot and then have to use a different branded magnifier, if that makes sense. We'll just spin this on here. And I do like the colour though. The colour does match with this build quite nicely, so I think it's going to have to be used on this 416 again. Maybe I don't get on with the height of the optic because it is quite high, or it looks high in the video there. And then we can have this mounted on behind it, and then we'll have a magnifier on there and it can flip to the side like that. Now, that out of the way, because this is becoming a long video and I didn't intend it to be, I was going to just whack the stuff on and away we go. But if you've been watching the channel for a while, that isn't always the case, is it? So the full auto consistency upgrade parts, whack the bolt out here. And it is good that they did send me two. So I don't know whether Guns Modify are paying attention to my videos, or they just sent me two just because I do have another Guns Modify Evo bolt that I bought when they released them as a spare, and to this day with my MWSs I've just never needed it. What that tells you about MWSs, I'll leave that up to you, but I'm just going to pull this out here, and the parts that we're going to be replacing is this piece here with this one. Looks very similar, and the other part is the wheel on the back. So we can take, is it a 4mm? 4mm Allen key. We can spin the back piece off here like that. Then we should be able to nudge out the retaining pin, which is this one just on the side here. With that removed, we can push out this cross pin. Is that going to fall out? We took it out far enough. Might not have. We've got anything thinner that can fit in there. Now we need to push it out a little bit further. I've got a little pin here I can use. So push that out. This roller should drop out there like that. And we've got a new roller, which I presume is going to fit that way. Or would it fit the other way? Not entirely sure. So that roller fits at the back like this. So I'm going to hazard a guess to say it goes in like that. We push the cross pin back in. With the cross pin pushed back in, you put the rear pin in, and then we can screw in or screw back in the rear part of the bolt here. Now, we did recently get cleaned out of the Jaeger MWS N passes. As you'll see, I've got one fitted in here. I've got it in all my guns. You'll be happy to know that they are fully back in stock, as well as the VFC ones. We also have the new easy loaders for the VFC magazines in as well. So we're going to have to eventually change these bolts out because I'm not liking the fact that they are Phillips screwdrivers. So I'm just going to pop these out just to get it out the way. Pop that spring out, that will drop forward. We can then pull this section out here. Like that. That will enable us to extract the nozzle because we're going to need to lube this up as well. While we're doing that, we're going to take, I believe, a 2mm Allen key. I'm going to spin these screws out. I mean, they did kind of think ahead of this because they've made this part of the bolt serviceable. And, you know, they, at a later date, find that this part needs updating. And they can just ship these parts out or put them on the stores to be sold, and you haven't got to buy a complete new bolt assembly. This feels like it is on there, so we're going to give it a tap, like so. It doesn't look too dissimilar. The only part that looks different to me is this section here where it's silver. The rest of it kind of looks the same, maybe a tiny bit different geometry, but it mainly looks like that part. So we'll take the old one off, we'll take the new one, slip that in its place, and this is going to take me a while to sort of trial this part and make sure, see if I find any difference. Now, the problem for me with the full auto on this is it jamming up like on the feed ramp, like trying to load the BBs into the magazine. It's not so much the full auto, but you know, if it helps and they've made an improvement, then why not have it? So we've got the nozzle here, and we need to extract this, so we need a smaller Phillips screwdriver. We can spin that out here. There's a little O-ring on there that's fell off. We can pull that out, extract the nozzle, or the spring, the nozzle spring. We can then push out the end pass. Sometimes they get stuck on this rubber seal, which isn't a problem. And we're going to take out that nozzle spring, and we got the new one, and it kind of feels the same, but we'll go with it anyway. So we can fit that back in, slide the end pass back on there, line that up, push it in. Just managed to spin the end pass around the wrong way. So we'll just making a pig's ear of this. Always tends to go wrong when you've got the camera on. Do this 100 times without the camera on, it'd be absolutely fine. I'm going to spin that around the right way like that. Try again. There we go. So your end pass should spring in nice and easy like that. We look through the hole here. We wait till we can see. Oh, come on, focus. Wait till we can see daylight through there like that. Hold it in place. Take the screw. I'm going to put the O-ring back on it. Place it in the hole here. Not really sure that does anything at all, but. And then we can screw that back in. If you took apart your bolt before, you know the score. It's very simple, easy to do. Don't want to go too far with that screw because we don't want it to protrude from the other side. And then here what I can do is just give this a wipe off all the grime and the dirt like that. Look for where I've placed my lube pens as usual. Can't spot them, let me grab one. Okie dokie. I'll leave this up here. Like that. Get that placed back into the bolt. Pull the rear tab as you normally would. Take the little plastic retainer, push that in to lock it in place, pull nozzle guide out. And I see a lot of people struggle with these springs in here, and they're placing them in the top here and angling it up and then trying to close it down. And I do shake my head at it, because I'm like, why are you struggling? And I even watched one video where the guy said it was a bad design that they have an opening at the top, because the spring could fly out or it could grab dirt, this, that and the other. And I thought, bloody hell, you could not be more oblivious to the fact that that gap, the whole reason it's there is that so when you've assembled your bolt, you can put your spring in really easy. Like, if you were unaware of that, that's what it's for. You put your spring in, you take a little flathead or something. It's got a little stopper in there, which means the spring can't fly out on its own. Stop making your life so difficult. Now, this is something I'm going to do off camera, because otherwise we'll be here all night. So I've swapped those parts out for the full auto consistency parts. Maybe I could try it before and after putting the hammer spring in. So that's that done. Just gonna slightly grease, or I'm using the oil because you guys keep buying the grease. It's a very popular thing on the shop, which means that whenever I need one for the bench, I'm always out of stock, or there's not many in stock, and I don't want to pull them out because some of you guys might be trying to get your hands on it. So just applying a little bit of lube here and there. That can go in. So with this, the rail that I have fitted was meant for a Umarex or a VFC 416. Went on with no issue whatsoever. Optics for this have always been a bit of a struggle for me, because I just can't find anything that I really like. Again, I've ordered some new stuff from Holy Warrior, so when that comes, maybe we'll look at it and find a better system. But I do have the Unity mounts now. They seem to work well. They look nice. The whole reason I bought this mount was because I like the fact that the magnifiers can drop underneath it, which I thought was a unique thing, and not sort of fold out to the side where it can get in the way and snag on stuff. So that's all done. The 416 is looking really nice. I think that rail even really sets it apart, and we just need to figure this bit out. So thanks tuning as always. I hope you liked, again, me doing these. I'm just messing about on the bench. I try to include you all, and so if anyone has the same issue or whatever, they can follow along. But there you have it. My GM 416 is getting updated, and a bit of gas in there. Should try the full auto actually. Seems to work okay. It's got no gas in it. And that's a version 4. What's weird is these version 4s, I've been noticing quite a few issues with them. Which, again, it's almost like with the VFC system, the mags are going from the version 1, the version 2, version 3, and they're getting progressively better. The guns modify PMags, just in the newer versions, seem to progressively getting worse. So I'll leave it there. Thanks for tuning in as always. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you want to. Let me know what you think about this build down in the comments below. Do you like it? Do you like the way I've got it set up? Ideas on a postcard for the magnifier and what optics you guys are running on these mounts. I need to sort the stock out as well. Thanks for watching, and from me and Bench, as always, we'll be seeing you in the next one.